Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. From the deepest jungles to the outmost reaches of space and beyond the veils of death itself, the Bald and Bonkers Boys are back for another episode. It's no secret that you won't know what will happen next, but Dakota Franson and Chris Moll promise that all bets are off. Viewer discretion and straitjackets advised. These two idiots live up to the name.
Ladies and gentlemen, for this episode, please be advised to not drink and drive.
But
you're drinking and podcast.
I'm on the
drinking and podcast.
I am brew.
Yeah, like
what the hell is that?
Alcohol,
oh, that's Scotland's national drink. You gotta be in
Scotland. You never heard of I am brew?
I see.
Yeah, it's supposed to promote it as a big manly soda, big manly drink, but yet when you taste it, it tastes like bubblegum cream soda.
Oh wow!
It's look, you Americans have got your Dr. Peppers and your what do you call it, your Pepsis and all that kind of stuff, right? We have got Iron Brew. When he was out here in Scotland, he was walking about with big bottles, drinking it and all that kind of stuff. You know,
we're rednecks. We're Bush Light. We're rednecks.
What's that? Is that like a real beer or something?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's $10 a 30 pack.
Advised.
Yes.
Yeah.
Warned. You're in for a treat tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you go to Dakota? I'll interrupt you. There you go.
No, go ahead. Well, Chris, you know these guys more than I do. Why don't you go ahead?
Ladies and gentlemen, I had the honor of doing a show about in tribute to Mike the Naked Bigfoot, and these guys were on the show, which was an interesting night. I will say that because with a medium on, and Joey got a weird reading, you know, and Tim was telling us about his UFO experience, and I thought, you know something, we need to get them on the Bald and Bonkers show. You know, I've just noticed nearly everybody here's bald. Out of curiosity, Tim, do you have hair?
Okay, so my brain came out of my head. I had a coyote on a motorcycle. My brain came out of my head, and I usually keep just a little on here to hide the scars. But
really,
he's sexy bald. I'm not.
Oh, I shaved just for the show because I knew.
Yeah, I'm a dick with ears. He looks good. He looks like Breaking Bad.
It's weird that it's weird that because I've noticed people in the paranormal and the UFO theater are mostly bald. It's so strange. I don't know if it's like the radiation coming in for the UFOs and making all
the stress. They've lost all their hair because of the stress.
Yeah,
I started going bald when I started in this.
Anxiety.
You know,
stress and anxiety. Yeah.
So, guys, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll let it fill up a bit. I mean, there's Dots in the chat already. There's Dots already. He's for Island, guys. He'll be sitting with his cup of tea in the noon.
I was about to say, I would expect the Irishman to come in for the beer.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. And please, guys, the link's in the chat. Please go and subscribe to their channel because it's a brilliant channel. And let's get you up to. You're nearly at 1,000 now. How many subscribers are you sitting at?
Okay, well, I think we'll start this off at the beginning. So, about 6 months ago, was it? Because we started, we started The Truth About Beer. It's still a legitimate channel that I still do things with. But Tim and I kind of broke off from there about 6 months ago and started out there with Papa Joy and Uncle Tim. So we have another channel that we're trying to build. Right. So the Truth About Beer got kind of confusing for a lot of people because they didn't know what we were going to talk about. And Tim was part of it, but he and I always kind of leaned to the paranormal end of things. And our other host wanted to do some other things that
political,
I just couldn't totally get into. So
we're in the right place with us. We talk about UFO and political and all those mad things. I mean, we got a video done a couple of weeks ago because we mentioned the jibby jab.
Yeah, only on one of our channels. But everywhere else, it's still there.
We've got loads of them. We've got loads of channels. I mean, loads. I mean, Dakota uploads onto the podcast side of stuff. So obviously, I would love to hear all about your UFO stuff, and obviously with the thumbnail tonight, you're standing in the cockpit. That's a good picture, by the way. That is a good one where you're like pointing. Can you, Tim? Can you tell us a wee bit about that? Because you went into it a wee bit the last time on the tribute for Mike's Naked Bigfoot, but could you get into a wee bit more for us tonight?
Yeah. So what I want you to do is I want to play you a little bit of the transcripts of what actually is heard through the FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, and it's actual communication with the pilot and ground control and everything. But it started off. It was a flight from Tampa to Las Vegas. Flight 564. I think we left at 9 o'clock. And as you head toward Vegas, you gain an hour, you gain an hour, you gain an hour. And so we got on, I think, at midnight, which was like a 4.5, 5 hour flight. But then by the time you get there, the time changed. So we're flying. I was working first class. I was a flight attendant, and I'd already taken care of first class. And this is late at night. So we call it the red eye. And most people just have a drink, eat their food, and they're out. They sleep the whole time. It's rare that you see anybody up on those flights. So I took care of the first class. There was 14 people in first class. I took care of them. And then after I took care of them, I go up and I sit in the jump seat with the guys, because I know all of them, and we're all good friends. So after Tampa, we get over to like the panhandle of Texas, and John, our first officer, says, "Hey man, come check out the storm." And so I go up there and I sit right behind him. And a 757's cockpit is pretty wide. It's wider than most. And there's no engineer or no navigator, so there's a lot of room in the cockpit. So I sat behind, and I'm like looking at the storm as we're flying right over Lubbock, Texas. And I'm watching all the lightning and the incredible, and it's just amazing. And so anyway, we're just sitting there, and we pass all the thunderstorm, and then John's reading his Baja magazine, because he races motorcycles through California, the Baja in Mexico. He does all that stuff. Eugene Tollefson was a captain. He was over there doing positions report. It was his leg, so he was doing all the the paperwork and the position reports and everything. And so we're just sitting there and just normal. And I looked out the window at about 2 o'clock, and I saw boom, 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 boom. It was a light, bright strobe. And then it was a thin light that ran to the other one, and then it went boom. So it was like boom, boom. And I looked right out at 2 o'clock, and I'm like, "John, what is that?" And he looked up. There was dead silence in here, and we're like, "What the hell is that?" And so immediately he picks up the radio and starts talking to ground control in Albuquerque Center. And then you can hear the whole transmission of him saying, "Hey, we're looking at something up here with bright strobes on it. We don't know what it is. Can you tell us what it is?" And they're like, "No, we have nothing in the area." They called Bigfoot, they called NORAD, they called everyone. And they're like, "No, nothing." And then the story is amazing. I wish you could hear the transcript.
Well, we could do that.
We can do that. Do you mind if we play that for you?
I just need
let's do it.
Need to set it up. So here's the funny thing: if you go on to YouTube, and you have to put in the whole name. So you put in America West Airlines flight
case 564.
You don't have to put in case. You just have to put in the flight.
Okay. All right.
You'll find all kinds of information on it.
There's a lot of remakes on it, but they're not all accurate, because that'll be the story.
The funny thing, Smithsonian Channel did a story on it, and he changed sex on that one.
The flight attendant was a girl. Which I don't have a problem with that. But I mean, nobody's talked to us. We weren't allowed to talk to anyone. So they've recreated it based on their information that they have, and they've all gotten it a little wrong. But bless their hearts, they tried, because anyway, there's so much more to the story. But
I'm gonna
take a look at this. It's just listen to it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I won't share my screen till I get it set up here, so you can keep talking, Tim.
Fire away. Tell us more.
But I tell you, it changed my life. It totally changed my life. I mean, I'm a different person, and once you see something like an abduction, people have been abducted, it's changed their lives, and they don't expect anybody to believe them, but it changes their lives. Now, in the very beginning, when this happened to me, I wanted to try to tell everyone what happened and make them believe what I believed. But then after a while, I got to the point where, you know what? It's not really about other people believing me. It's about just experiencing the sighting, the incident for myself, and growing and learning and dealing with it myself. It's not about whether or not people believe you, because there are so many people that think I'm a nut.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was just like
been there.
So it changed my life, and it wasn't until I met Joey and Keith, and I've kept this to myself for many years. That was 1995, and Joey and Keith, they heard about my story, and I shared it with them, and they're like, "Oh man, you've got to come on and share this story. It's amazing." And I've got so much evidence, documented evidence, so it's not like my story. It's there. But nobody knew that I was the flight attendant on that airplane, and that's one of the reasons I'm happy, because I never got, I wasn't like a Travis Walton, I wasn't like a media blitz. Nobody hounded me and made fun of me, and I didn't get recognized, and I loved that. So, but now that I'm able to talk about it, it's wonderful.
I'm getting there, I swear. If I get
I mean, it must have been quite a shock to you seeing them just appear like that. I mean, what did the pilots say? Obviously the pilots are like, "What in the name of God is that?"
Yeah.
Did they ever see after the incident? Did they ever talk about it, or were they told to stay quiet about it?
Yeah, you're going to hear the whole story. Let's do it in chronological order.
Yeah.
You ready?
So I'll see if this will work. So I share the screen,
let's see this.
All right.
Well, I understand. Let's proceed. Don't show me again. What? I'm going to this channel. That's the one I want.
All
yes.
Right. Yeah, just check this out.
Let me go full screen. Hit play. Can you see that okay?
Yep.
All right.
Perfect.
Cheers. Enjoy this. This is amazing.
I don't hear any sound there.
Oh, we did.
Can you hear the sound on it?
Yep.
Yeah, sound's coming through.
Next 564, man. Yeah, on to our 3 o'clock. Getting some strokes out there. Can you tell what it is? I'll tell you what, that's some, right now, I don't know what it is right now. There is a restricted area that's used by the military out there in the daytime. Yeah, it's gone. Hold on, let me see if anybody else knows around here. Albuquerque, Santa America 1359 at 310, we got light shop. America 1359, Albuquerque Center, rising up more than a very occasional light shop in that area. Hey. 564, did you pay that object at all? Cactus 564, no I don't. Talking to the 3 or 4 guys around here, no one knows what that is. We've never heard about that. But nobody's paying it at all? Okay, Cactus 564, say again. There's nothing on the radar from the other centers at all on that particular area, that object that's up in the air? It's up in the air? Affirmative. No, no one knows anything about it. What's the altitude about? I don't know, probably right around 30,000 or so, and it's drill that starts going counterclockwise, and the length is unbelievable. Cannon 21.
Cannon, go ahead.
Hey, you guys know if there was anything like a tethered balloon or anything released that should be above high band?
No, we haven't heard nothing about it.
Okay. Guy at 39,000 says he sees something at 30,000 that the length is unbelievable and it has a strobe on it. This is not good.
What does that mean?
I don't know. It's a UFO, so it's a Roswell crap again.
Where's it at now?
He says it's right in time then.
It's right in time. And no, we haven't seen nothing like that.
Okay, keep your eyes open.
Foxtrot Kilo.
X564, we checked with Canon. They don't have any weather balloons or anything up tonight. Nobody up front knows any idea about that. You still see it?
Negative. That's where we initially spotted it. It was between the weather and us, and when there's lightning, you can see a dark object, and it was pretty eerie looking. There's aircraft off to the right here going east now. Maybe you'll see it.
Okay.
First time in 15 years I've ever seen anything like it.
Arcade 5 in the next about 2 to 3 minutes. Be looking off to your right side. If you see anything about 30,000 feet, one aircraft reporting does something. It wasn't a weather balloon or anything. It was a long, white-looking thing with a strobe on it. Let me know if you see anything out there.
What did you see?
It said it was about 30,000.
What's the frame peak?
Cactus 564, you still?
Okay, permanent 564.
Yeah, that was south of your position.
It was north.
Okay, Arcade 5, let's make it out the left window now.
Are you taking any traffic up out of that right now?
I've got something passing off here 9 o'clock and about 12 at 31 westbound.
Good. Hey, you guys don't know anything about some kind of a weather balloon or UFO that's out in the vicinity of Fort Sumner tonight, do you?
I don't think so. Stand by.
Okay.
At this point, the answer to that question is no. I was at 564's last time. Just for a note, we're going to take a minute. Was that in a restricted area? That was just basically south of Cherry where we reported it.
Okay, the way you went through, the only restricted area is on your south side, nothing to the north side. And those restricted areas are inactive. There shouldn't be anything going on.
Hang on a second.
Yeah, I didn't know if you happen to know of anything going on out there. No balloons in the area, no nothing.
Okay, where is this at again?
It's at, well, you know where it's in Tucumcari, New Mexico. It's about 150 miles to the east of Albuquerque.
Okay, how far from Holloman?
Holloman, it looks like it's off the 030 Holloman for about 220 miles.
Okay, I think. Okay, it's kind of hard for us to see here. Okay, 030 for about 200. We don't have anything going on that I know of.
Yeah, I didn't know. We've tried everybody else, and nobody else is. This guy definitely saw it run all the way down the side of the airplane, so it was a pretty interesting thing out there.
Okay, it was at 30,000 feet.
30,000 feet.
It was like long.
Yeah, it's right out of the X-Files. I mean, it's a definite UFO or something like that. But I mean,
y'all are serious about this.
Yeah, he's real serious about it too. And he looked at it, saw it. No balloons were reported tonight. Nothing in the area.
And it was strobing out the front. He said.
I think the strobe was off the tail end of it.
Okay, strobe tail.
He said it was kind of it was dark, but he said there was lights in it.
How long did he think it was?
He said he was 300 to 400 foot long.
Holy smokes!
Yeah. And we don't have any air carriers out here, so they're strobing along.
The only thing that I
not that far to the north.
To me, it would sound like an aerostat, but I don't think ours are that big, though.
Yeah, no, and they're more like a this is like some sort of.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
So I mean, if you just listen to those transcripts, you really don't. I mean, that just said everything. It said everything. I can tell you the story that led up to it and what happened during and all that stuff. But this right here was subpoenaed by the Freedom of Information Act, and it was released. And nobody's ever. I mean, it's not been on CNN. It's not been on Fox News. It's not been on anything. The hard copies, sightings, A&E, 48 Hours. They all did shows. Smithsonian. They did shows on it, but that's all they had to go on. So they recreated several little shorts to make it look like what happened, but nobody really knows the real story.
That's why they stereotyped you as a woman.
Yeah, because it was a flight. It was a
flight attendant.
A stewardess. But yeah, it was amazing. It was totally amazing. The hair was on the back of my neck. I was crying. I had chills. It changed my life. I can't. So I saw it, and then the lightning and the thunderstorms back in the panhandle of Texas lit up, and it went from 2 o'clock, then it went to 3 o'clock, and then went down, and then it went right into the cell of thunderstorms, and it disappeared into the storm. And me and Eugene and John are looking at each other going, dude, what the hell was that? And we didn't know. So Eugene he reached up, he says, I'm going to follow it. And John reached over and says, no. He was going to take it off autopilot and actually turn toward it because he was in shock. And John's like, no, you can't do that. We'll get shot down, man. I mean, no, you can't do that because we weren't thinking right. And so we breathe, and we're like, all right, we're calming down. And eventually he goes, I'm going to draw a picture of it. How about if I draw a picture of it? He goes, can we agree on that? And he got out a piece of paper, and we all drew the picture of it. And we drew exactly what we saw. And it's never been illustrated the same way the picture we drew. But so we go along as normal, and I get up and I go back into the back, and I'm talking to the other crew members, and like, hey, what's going on? And I'm like, are we on time? I'm like, yeah, we're on time. I meant, we just saw a UFO. And they're like, what? Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right, cool, man. So we deadhead from Las Vegas to Phoenix. So and I'm like, dude, you guys didn't hear what I said. We just saw a freaking UFO. And they're like, all right, well, cool. What it look like? Yeah. I'm like, never mind. Went back into the cockpit. We talked, and we're like, all right, guys, we just have to calm down about this. This is, we're shocked. So we pull in, we go into gradual, go into final, and we land, and we go up to the gate in Vegas, and we pull into the gate. And as soon as we pull into the gate, I'm in the front of a 757, and I'm looking out the hole, and there's men in suits. I don't say black, they had suits on. And so Eugene, ding dong, I said, hey. He goes, yeah, there's a bunch of guys here. Just get identification before you let anybody in. I'm like, no problem. So I hung up, and the door opens, and I start saying goodbye to everyone. And there's like 3 guys in suits out there with a security officer, because in Las Vegas, the police force is called Metro. And so there were a couple of policemen, and there were the guy in suits. There was a supervisor for our airline, and there was all these people on the jetway. So I started like, all right, and I'm shaking, and I'm like, all right, goodbye, thank you, have a good night, good luck in Vegas, blah 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 blah. And so the first class people kind of walked out, and there was a lull because people are getting their luggage. And like a man walked up to me, and he handed me an ID. He goes, I need to speak to the captain. And I said, I need your ID, please. And he handed me his ID. Now I glanced at it. And listen, I've been around the FAA for 40 years. I know what the FAA is. And it says FAA in big blue letters on the background of their IDs. I know what FAA is. This badge that they handed me had a seal and had stuff on it I didn't recognize. And I'm like, all right, one moment, please. And so I took the thing, and I went into the captain, and I said, there's guys here. They want to talk to you. And he looked at the ID. He goes, oh, okay, let him in. So I walked back out, and I'm like, you're welcome to go in, sir. And he walked in, and the door shut. And they were in there while I'm saying, bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. You know, thank you. And so there was another lull, because the 757 is a big airplane. And one of the gentlemen stepped in, and he goes, hey, how are you doing tonight? I'm like, I'm doing all right. Is there something wrong? And he goes, nope, just doing routine, inspection. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, how often
bullshit.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, never. I've never even, I mean, FAA show up, but they're just one guy, and he comes in, he introduces himself. He tells you exactly why he's there. He's doing a check ride or whatever. This was not that. And so I'm like, yeah, everything's wonderful. Anything out of the ordinary tonight? And I'm like, no, sir. Why? Is there something wrong? He goes, nope, just, and he stepped back out of the jetway, and he stayed in there, and he was standing there with a guy, and I told everybody goodbye and everything. All of a sudden, the cockpit door opened. This guy walks out and walks into the jetway, and they all start talking. So I turn around, and I look inside the cockpit, and John's coming out, because now that we've arrived at Vegas, we have to deadhead from Vegas to Phoenix. That means in 45 minutes we get on a flight and we just ride home. We're not working. So John comes out of the cockpit and I look up at him and he goes, "You didn't see nothing." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Because I can see him, but they can't see me because he's coming out of the cockpit." So he walks out and goes in the jetway, and then Eugene walks out and his face is like, "Oh my God." And he walks out and he goes and they all leave. And so they're gone. And I'm saying bye. Anyway, everything is normal. So we get with the crew and they're like, where did the guys go? I'm like, I don't know. Some guys showed up and I think they took them to talk to them about what we saw. And they're like, "Did you really see a UFO?" And I'm like, "Yeah, guys, we did." So anyway, we go to the other flight. It was a 737, another gate. And we deadhead home. We just sit in the exit aisle and we ride home. So we're sitting there waiting to leave. And the flight attendant's like, "Where are the guys?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't know. I have no idea." So the captain comes on and says, "Well, folks, welcome aboard. Our flight will be about 45 minutes. And the weather, and we're just waiting on some connecting bags. We'll be on time. So we're just going to take a little delay here because we're waiting on some late baggage and paperwork, and we'll be on our way. Have a good night." And we're sitting here waiting. So the guys come on and they come down, and Eugene sits on the left side of the plane on the aisle seat. And then John sits on my side of the plane on the aisle seat. And I'm looking at him and he puts his bag up. He sits down. I'm like, "Dude, what happened?" He goes, "Shh." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Don't talk about it here." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about, man? What happened?" And he goes, "No." He goes, "I'll talk to you when we get to Phoenix." So for 45 minutes, it was awkward because we couldn't even speak to each other. I mean, he didn't even want to social. He was, and his eyes were like stuck out of his head. And I'm like, "All right, whatever." So we land, we go through the terminal. We don't talk. We get to the bus that takes us to the employee parking lot. So we're on the bus and I'm like, "Hey," he goes, "Shh, shh." I'm like, "Oh my God, this is stupid." So we get out. He goes, "Follow me," because he's parked in a different area than I'm parked. And so I parked. We pull our bags. We go out to the back of his car. And he's like, "Dude, we didn't see anything. We did not hear anything. We are not to report anything. I don't want to be disappeared in a desert." He goes, "I will lose my license. I could lose my life. I'm not saying anything." I'm like, "What the hell happened? Who were they?" He goes, "Dude, I can't even tell you." He goes, I've already told you too much. Just go home and forget this ever happened." And I'm dumbfounded. I'm driving home and I'm looking up in the sky and I'm like, "Oh shit. Whoever that was in that ship, they saw me and they know I saw them." And then as I'm driving home, I feel like they're watching me. I had that feeling that they were right there. And I'm like looking up in the sky and like, "Oh shit, they know I saw them. They're following me home." And I was scared to death. And I got home and I was staying at my mom and dad's that night because I commute. And so I got in at about 4:00 in the morning and I walked in and I'm like, "Mom, Dad, wake up." They're like, "What?" I'm like, "Listen, I gotta talk to you about something." And so my stepdad, he's like a theologian. He's a Bible scholar. He studied the Strongs and the Hebrew and the coordinates, and he knows a lot about theology and about scripture and everything like that. So I said, "Scotty, you've got to tell me, is there anywhere in the Bible that confirms or denies the existence of other life?" And he thought for a minute and he said, "Well, there's all sorts of examples. There's Moses, there's Ezekiel 1. I'm like, "What's Ezekiel 1? And he tells me about it. And I'm like, "Because I just saw something that was not from this planet." And I'm really freaked out because now God is no longer like the ultimate thing in my my brain. There's got to be more. And so I couldn't sleep that night. I was freaked out. So I lived with it for a while. I went and I read Ezekiel 1, and I read all the stories in the Bible about how angels appeared before all of our, all the people. And so then I got involved with MUFON, which is Mutual UFO Organization. It's a huge network. And they have a chapter over at the Papago National Guard that meets every first Tuesday on every month. And so I asked my brother if he could go with me because I wanted to get into this now. I wanted to start talking to people about UFOs and aliens and everything. I want to find out if other people have had anything close to what I had experienced. So my brother said, yeah, I'll go with you. So we walked in and we sat down, and I don't know how this was even possible, but back then there was a show called Sightings. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And they were playing my episode, and they were showing the transcripts, and they were reenacting the whole thing. They've since then taken that whole thing down. You cannot find that. If you can, please let me know. But they were talking about all that, and my brother's like, go tell them that was you. And I'm like, oh God, no. He goes, no, go tell them this. They're playing your show right here. This is your episode. Go tell somebody this is you. So I walked up and I said, who's in charge? And it was a guy named Tim Bell, or I can't remember exactly. And I walked up and I said, I need to speak with you. I mean, took a while to get to him. He was hard to get to talk to. And they're like, well, why do you want to talk? I'm like, I have to talk to him. So when he got to me, I'm like, see this thing you're doing right here, this sightings thing? I said, I was on that airplane. He goes, what? I said, I swear I was a flight attendant on the airplane. I'm the one that saw that UFO. And he goes, you've got to be kidding me. I said, no, I swear I know the whole story. And so he said, come with me. And he went with me. And then he started telling another guy, this is, and they're like, hey, do you mind just getting up and just introducing yourself and talking about it? Well, that's not why I was telling you this, but I guess. And I'm stupid. I'm stupid. And so he gets up there and says, hey folks, welcome. We'd like to welcome everyone, and blah, blah, blah. And they go through all their formal announcements and everything. He goes, well, folks, we had a great show tonight, but fortunately we have a surprise guest. And he said, you just saw the show up here on he goes, we've got a guy that was actually on the flight, and we'd like to bring him up right now and have him share the story. And they said, Tim, come on up. And I'm like, I'm sitting here going, what the hell have I done? So I got up and I walked on the stage, and it's at the National Guard. It's an auditorium, and there's people like, there are people in there from college doing theses. There's people in there that are believers. There's people in there. Who knows what kind of people are in there? And so I told the story. And then after I was done, I left, and everyone's like, wow, 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 wow. So anyway, we ended and everything. And so as I walked outside, people attacked me. People walked up to me and they were putting their hands on me like, oh my God, yes, I feel it. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And they're like, oh, dude, they were going, there are these people out there that believe that they can like have some of the energy from me from that. And there were people putting their hands on me. It was weird, dude. It was weird. People wanted my autograph.
I can feel it.
So after this one guy walks up and he goes, after you're done with all these people, I'd like to talk to you. And I'm like, okay. So I was done with all the people. I'm like, dude, let's get out of here, my brother. And so I walked up and I'm like, yeah, what's up? And he goes, well, my name is Erskine. I do a talk radio show here in Phoenix. It's on AM radio, and it's about paranormal. He goes, it's on the same concept of Art Bell. And I do a show here. I was wondering if you would like to be on my show one time. And I said, oh man, I don't know. He goes, you'd have to come downtown. You'd have to do all that. But I'm like, you know what? I'll think about it. I don't know. So I took his card and I went home, and he called me again and said, hey, this is Erskine. I was just wondering if you've, given any consideration about coming on our show. And I'm like, you know what? I'll do it. So I went on his show. And while I was on the show that night, I told the whole story just like I told it. And then there were people calling in asking questions. And then Erskine stops and he says, well, we have a special call-in guest on the phone. And Linda, are you there? It was Linda Bolton Howe. And so she starts asking me questions. How did you know who the guys were that met you? Was it FBI, or how do you know who they were? I'm like, I don't know who they were. Their badges looked official, but they weren't FAA. She goes, so you don't know they were FBI? I said, no, I never said I knew if they were FBI. I don't know who they were. And she goes, and she started badgering me and asking me all these questions. And I'm sitting here looking at Erskine going, dude, what the hell? Why she beat me up here? I mean, she's trying to discredit me. And she's like, how do you know? What you said the ship was 300 to 400. Well, that's a big difference. Was it 3 or was it 4? And I'm like, honey, I don't know what to tell you. I didn't know who she was. I had no idea. I'm not familiar with alien community at all. And so I'm like, well, man, she really like tore me a new one. And after we got off and after the show was over, I'm like, she was a bitch. She was really rude to me. And I know that's her job. But I took it personal. I'm like, yeah, she just made me look like an idiot. Like I'm making all this shit up. And I don't appreciate that. I'm not going to do this again. And Erskine's like, don't worry about it. That's the way this works. There's a skeptic and there's a believer, and you have to have both sides, or it's not. It's just like fair and balanced. I'm like, all right. So I went on, and I didn't do any more things. I got a hold of Jim Delatoso. He's a animated. He animates. He's an alien animator. He does all the videos and he animates computer drawings of reenactments of all of these people that have had all these encounters. So he said, hey, would you come in and let's try and recreate what you saw? And I said, sure. So I forget, it was called something laboratories. And I went down and I met with him, and he asked me what it looked like. And he started putting all this stuff in the computer, and we got a fairly good image of what it looked like. He did a really, really good recreation of what it looked like. And that was pretty impressive. And then he's done a show on that since then. And so anyway, then I backed off and I haven't done anything. I called John. John's like, no, don't want to talk about it. Don't want to talk about it. And so that was in 95. In 98 or 99, 98, my buddy calls, hey, John's trying to get a hold of you, John Waller. And I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, here's his number. My buddy Joe Mack was still flying with him because I quit. And he goes, give John a call. So John calls me up and says, hey, man, Eugene is thinking about going forward and sharing his story with the media. I don't know whether it was hard copy or 48 hours or Annie or whatever it was. He goes, he's going to share your story. And I was just wondering, do you want to be involved in this? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. He goes, well, I have a number for you. This is a guy's number. His name's Walter Webb. And you can Google Walter Webb right now. And there's no face of him. There's no image. He disappeared. And nobody knows anything about him now. So I called him. He was in Washington. He goes, hey, man, I'd like to get you down here and interview you about your encounter. He goes, could you get a red eye out tonight? I'm like, no, I don't feel comfortable with that. You know, I don't know who you are. You're wanting me to come to Washington and talk to you, and you want me to leave right now and come to. I'm like, no. Let me think about it. Let me talk to I'll talk to Eugene. I'll talk to John, and I'll let you know. And I didn't get back to him at all. And 2 weeks later, John called me again and said, "You're not going to believe this." I said, "What?" He goes, "Eugene is dead." I'm like, what? They found him dead of natural causes in his home, and he was alone. Now, any other time, I that happens all the time. Happens every day. Yeah, there's something wrong here. There's something very, very, very wrong here. And it was in my gut, it was in my heart, it was in my mind, and I'm like, oh shit, we have just opened up the hornet's nest. And so I tried to contact Walter Webb again, and that number no longer worked. And this is right when the internet was fairly new to us. I mean, I wasn't really a person that got on the internet and all that stuff. But I just started doing searches and everything. And all of a sudden, all of Walter Webb's information was taken down, unavailable.
Okay.
Just this site's no longer. He disappeared. And I mean, look him up right now, Walter Webb. Everything about him is just completely washed. And so I'm like, nope, I'm not saying a damn word about it. I'm not talking about it. I'm not answering phone calls. I'm not doing anything ever again. And to this day, John Waller, he's my friend, but he'll take my phone calls to say, hey, what's going on? How are you doing, man? Are you still okay? You know, in a subtle, like, are you doing okay? Are you all right? You know, I'm just making sure you're okay. But he doesn't want to talk anything about it. So that's where I am now. And then when I met Joey and Keith, they're like, so you have a UFO story? I'm like, oh boy, do I. And so I went on their show, and Joey hooked it all up, and they pulled up all the transcripts and everything, and that show got like that show got more views than I think any show they've ever done.
Still
to this day,
views, yeah.
And I've had all these people contact me and email me and ask me, and I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of sitting on this. I want to start talking about it, and I want to start talking to other people that have had that experience. And I said, let's do some paranormal research. Let's do some investigating. And that kind of led us. They were kind of like into ghost, and I said, let's just do paranormal. And if you could see our opening to our new Out There monologue or thing, it gives you a span of what we do now. And since then, we've gone to haunted hospitals, we've gone to jails, we've gone to boneyard airplanes, we've gone to people's houses that have had problems. We've done a lot of ghost investigation. It's really hard to do a whole lot of UFO investigation because there's not too many. I'm a member of CE5. Are you guys familiar with that?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We use that a lot. We use it a lot. Yeah.
All right. So I'm a registered member. I've already gone through all the training. I can be a host. I can actually take 15 people and take them out to the desert or into a place, and I can actually host a whole CE5 meeting. I've gone through all the things. I passed all the tests. And Richard Greer, I've got all my paperwork in order. I haven't done any since I've moved to Texas because you can't even see the frickin' sky. There's nothing. I mean, you go outside and the stars are gone because this place is just too damn big.
Light pollution.
Yeah. And so I would be doing it. But so Joey is like, why don't we just do our own paranormal stuff? So we started doing, ghost hunting and paranormal, and we looked for Bigfoot, and we've done a lot of things, and I'm interested in that. And so I have this on my truck out there with paranormal suds, and I wear the shirt, and I walk around, and I walk into stores, I walk into Mexican markets, I walk into bars, and people are like, oh, paranormal, that's cool. What is that? I'm like, yeah, I'm a paranormal investigator. I ghost hunt. I talk about UFOs. I interview people that have seen UFOs, and I've interviewed a lot of people, and a lot of people have shared their stories with me. So it's no longer a question in my mind, especially with what happened to me. But now I want to help other people that have had experiences that were too afraid, like me, to come forward because you feel like an idiot, or you feel like you're going to be fun of, or you're going to be ridiculed. I mean, Linda, bless her heart, she's wonderful. I love what she does, but she kind of broke my heart, and that's okay. She didn't know, and that's her job. But Joey and I have made a pact to start helping people like me.
Yes.
People that we don't want to go. We're ghost hunters, but we don't go to places that have been investigated. You see all these ghost hunter shows. Joey, now what we want to do is we want to hear about the person across the street that's got something wrong in their attic or their garage or their bedroom. Yes. And we want to go over, have an interview with them, and then have them leave and go in there. And we want to communicate with these things, find out why they're there, what they want. If they're peaceful, they can stay. If they're not, we want to ask them to leave, because we're doing it for them. That's the way we want to help people today.
Yes.
And that's basically where where we've ended up.
Yes, and we don't do it alone.
No, we have a whole team. We have a bunch of people and a lot of equipment, and we do it right. We go to graveyards, we go to antique stores, we go to jails, hospitals. We were up in Kingman. A guy said, "Can you please come check out what's in our house? Something's weird in our house." We went up there, and my wife and I went to do an interview before we went to investigate it. And we walked in, and shit was being thrown everywhere, and our equipment was going crazy. And I'm like, "Dude, there's something under this floor. What's under this floor?" And they're like, "There's nothing under this floor." I'm like, "No, there's something under this floor." And I noticed the carpet wouldn't attach to the side baseboards. And I'm like, "What's under this carpet?" And they're like, "We don't know." And we pulled it up, and it was a pentagram.
Ooh.
So we told them we would come back and do an investigation, but they left. They left before we got back up there. So that's where Joey and I are right now. We're trying to help people understand. We're called S.U.D.S, searching, understanding, discovering.
Subscribe, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Dakota, would you like to ask them some UFO questions? Because I can tell by the looks, I can tell the wee cogs are ticking over.
Absolutely.
No, honestly, just hearing your story, I'm honestly facing a lot of the same stuff. I've been starting to come out about my own experiences. I just went to a conference down in Orlando, and everybody was recognizing me from this show. One guy was offering to buy me dinner, and I was like, "Hey, oh, you're not my type." Then there have also been times where I come out where I go to share my story. I shared some real personal stuff, and people are just like, "Well, that man is totally lying." It's like, you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah.
I get where you're coming from. I mean, there's a slight possibility a bomb threat was called in to scare me off on something, but that's still being investigated by the police as we're talking. So I'm just amazed.
And I want to meet these other people that have had experiences like me, man, because they're not alone. And I'm this whole time I've been talking about this, my body's shaking. I'm all choked up. My anxiety's crazy. And every time I talk about this stuff, I get chills. It's traumatic, man. It's really stressful. I've learned to manage it and deal with it, but man, it's a lot of work.
Do you think maybe this was meant to happen? You were
I believe that. Yeah, I think
it's all connected.
Well, I'm an ordained minister, but I don't preach anymore. My dad's he was a traveling evangelist and went all over the country healing people and speaking in tongues. I left the church. I was no longer religious. I became spiritual. And so I don't believe in like religion anymore, but I'm spiritual. And so I do believe that there is a reason that encounter happened. And this is, I bring it back to Travis Walton. I'm not special, but I was chosen for that. They know I saw them. They know. Why would they let me know if there wasn't a reason? There has to be a reason.
Because they had a plan for you. They wanted you to see them. Maybe they followed you home.
It was confirmation. No, I think they did.
Maybe they followed you home because maybe they were looking after you. You never know.
And I've got a story when I was young about an abduction, but I don't tell anybody because it's too crazy. One day, I hope
welcome to the crowd.
One day, I hope to do hypnotic regression and have somebody get me in. I want to interpret this dream I've been having all my life because it doesn't make any sense. So I do feel like deep inside somewhere, I have been abducted, but I'm scared to go down that hole.
Maybe it's time you went in there. Maybe it's time you opened up the can and went for it.
Yeah, I don't mind. I'm not scared of anything. I've almost died 9 times. I'm not afraid of dying.
Before I got into this, I was like a Christian. I believed in Jesus and all that stuff. I believed in the Bible and stuff. And then I started to experience things that were one of the things that were like I seen UFO. I seen that day. I seen that UFO. The one that I shared with Dakota, the one that I just couldn't understand why I could see it, but my phone wouldn't video it. And
there's so much more beyond Jesus. Thank God people believe in Jesus, and sometimes I'm kind of glad that people don't know about what more is out there. It's amazing the dimensions, the portals, the
Oh,
parallel universes. I mean, I can't talk about it to people because they don't understand and they think I'm nuts.
And that's how we lost our hair.
Yep.
but it's a good thing though, because everybody, obviously you've got the Bible and people believe in Jesus and all that kind of thing.
That's
How do we
good.
not know that? How do we not know that Jesus wasn't one of them?
I think
You see where I'm going
Jesus
with
was an
this?
alien. I
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
Jesus was an alien. He was a seer. He was like an Anunnaki. He was like
Yeah.
the Sumerian. He was Akhenaten. He was one of the special people that came from the stars and gave man knowledge and education, and then went back to where he came from. It's the same story over and over in every culture.
It kind of, I kind there's people out there that think that we're the only life forms in the entire universe, right? And I people that I just don't agree with them. I think it's a good thing to know that there's other life out there, that there's other civilizations out there. Right now, there's civilizations out there that are running about the same technology as us. There's civilizations out there that are still in the Stone Age, but then there's civilizations out there that are millions of years more advanced. And they're watching us,
and we're starting to find that out, and we're starting to discover.
Yeah,
Geoteple Tempe. I always say that wrong, but listen, you
throws
ask,
me off when you say it.
You ask a person that's religious or a Christian.
Gobekli Tepe.
Gobekli Tempe. You ask a person that's religious or a Christian like that to read Sumerian text, which
Cuneiform.
Yeah. Zachariah Sitchin. All right. If you ask somebody to read that, just read the text and then explain to me how you still believe what you believe. You can't. It's contradictory. It's an oxymoron.
Yeah. I've read the Zachariah
truth.
Sitchin books. Yeah.
I believe truth, your own truth kind of exists on its own plane. So like-minded people exist on the same truth plane. I don't think there's anything cut and dry about the truth, to be honest with you. I think there's many truths. It depends on where you resonate at,
what dimension you're in.
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't want to stir the pot with people that are totally believing in what they believe, because it brings them peace. It helps them through their day.
Fine. That's fine.
I think that's great. But
I'm glad about religion. Don't get me wrong. Religion is very important to the
Yeah.
people that are ignorant, and they need the steps and they need the tools to achieve a spiritual level. That's important that everyone achieves a spiritual level. If it takes religion for them to get there, that's fine. It took me religion to get there. But once you reach spirituality, it's no longer about religion.
Yeah.
But it's important that everybody get there.
Exactly.
I
do the ghost investigations too and stuff, and I've met some strange folk in my life. I mean, Dakota's one of them, but I've met some really, really strange. I know I'm strange too. I've met some people that they go to church and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, I don't believe in aliens. Oh, and I don't believe in ghosts."
It's okay.
And then they go, "But when I die, I'm going to heaven." And then I say to them, "But you don't believe in ghosts, and you don't believe in the afterlife, but when you die, you're going to heaven."
They don't know what heaven
and it's
is.
it's a kind of question. Then you see them, they sit there and you can see them thinking about it, and they go all quiet because you've obviously activated a question in their head. Because I know friends like that, and knew they asked me all the time about UFO stuff. Because
if I hadn't gone through this, I would have been just fine.
Yeah.
I would have been just fine the way I was.
You wouldn't have been elevated to where you are.
I wouldn't be where I am now, but I don't think that I would have suffered or missed out on anything. But when you allow yourself to go to experience, to look in, to open yourself up to that different level and different dimension and different parallel universe, and you allow that, you accept it, it starts coming in, and you start being educated in a way that you never would have if you just kept going to Sunday school. And it's amazing. It's amazing. And you know what? I consider it a gift.
Yeah. It's actually interesting because there's Pete in the chat
So
It's good to
Pete,
see
I
you,
saw
Pete.
that pop up. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Hey, Pete.
yeah.
Where's-
And
There you are.
it's actually interesting about how he said his dad had so many fights about people with angels and stuff like that. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I do believe angels exist, but no in an angelic kind of form. I do believe that a long time ago there was these beings that came to the earth. You see where I'm going with this? A long time ago,
seers, the
these-
watchers.
Yes, yeah,
The
and
ones
they came
from
to the
who
earth.
heaven the stars
Yes.
came.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
they teached man how to farm, and they teached man how to build stuff, and then they disappeared again.
Yeah.
And then obviously they're watching us grow as we speak. I mean, one day they are going to come down. One day they are going to
Yeah.
arrive. I mean,
Nibiru.
it's only a matter. It's only. What is your opinion on Planet Nibiru? I mean, it's an interesting one. That
It's coming back, and when they do, everything's going to be answered. It's a rotation of a planet that was here a long time, 2,600 years ago, and it makes its orbit. And every time it gets back to our orbit, they come down and they teach us and they show us and everything, and they leave again. One day they're gonna be back. They're gonna come down. They're gonna confirm everything that I believe. Because if you believe the Sumerian writings and Akhenaten and the Akhenaten, the people,
The people,
the Akhenaten,
the Anunnaki.
Anunnaki. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
the Anunnaki. And if you just listen to what they talk about, because nobody wants to hear that. It's like you're in denial, but people are going to be shocked when it actually happens again, and I know it's going to happen again.
I'm reading that book, the new Zachariah Sitchin, When Time Began. You know the one I'm talking
love
about.
that man. Yes.
I just get it in the other day. I'm only maybe 40 or 50 pages in.
That'll
I'm finding it
change your
quite-
life.
Yeah,
It'll change your life.
It's very interesting. It's a big thick book, and it's
that and Chariot of the Gods.
Yeah, I've got that one too. I've got
that
them all.
and Chariot of the Gods.
Every one of them.
If you can read both of those and tell me you don't believe all that stuff,
Well, that
bookshelf's
movie when
right
it first
there
came out,
behind
you
us.
can't do that.
There's a big pile of books behind us, and it's every one that he's ever wrote. Zachariah Sitchin.
It's undeniable.
He was a very
you can't argue
interesting
it.
man.
You can't argue it.
Yeah. So Dakota.
So, being that we're getting close to the end of the hour, what are your guys' opinion on the renewed interest in the public when it comes to UFOs regarding all these Senate hearings? So what do you think that's going to lead to?
They're gradually softening us up for the big reveal. We're getting used to it. So then when the thing lands on the US, there's not going to be a panic there like was in Orson Welles. Orson Welles proved that they couldn't talk about it back then.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we wouldn't have that. If you heard aliens came down on the White House lawn, there's a lot of people that are going to keep going to the bowling alley and not give a crap about it.
Yeah.
Not like they did with Orson Welles. When Orson Welles did that, the whole world panicked.
Yeah.
They won't do that now. They've slowly been conditioning us to accept what's inevitable. And when we're all numb with it and we all accept it and all the movies and all the stuff and we're all cool, then they'll tell us and we won't lose control as government and society as we know it.
Well, we can go forward just a little bit though from that. I think not only are they softening us or helping us to expect what's to come, but they're positioning themselves to be able to do a false flag and not lose control.
Right.
That's my concern about it. Because them
control
faking it and turning the tides before the real aliens come.
They can't do it until we're ready. And I don't know.
They
that
could
we're
do
ready,
that,
but
and they still have control of us, or of the country or whatever, of the people. Because if the aliens just came down and landed on the White House lawn and stepped out, then said, "Hey, we're here and we're it."
Not a whole lot of people were shocked like they were with Orson Welles.
But they're going to say, "Well, then why do I need to
listen to police or a judge or government?" We'll lose control as organization of government as we know it, because nobody will respect a policeman anymore, because what the hell are they? They don't mean nothing.
I personally think the will come, but I think they're waiting for our society to try and repair itself a wee bit. I think they're
Yes,
waiting.
absolutely.
They're waiting for the wars. The wars are terrible. I mean,
Well,
the
that's
Middle
probably
East is
what's going
falling
to
apart.
cause them
Yeah.
to come back. World War III
Yeah.
will probably be the reason that they intervene and it all comes back.
Yeah, I think that's what they're waiting on. I think they're waiting for the powers that be, because obviously, let's face it, the powers that be, some of the powers that be, the new want to keep it hidden for the technology and make money.
It's corrupt.
I think they're waiting for World War III to start.
Yeah, the right time.
And I think once it starts, I don't think they're going to allow the nuclear weapons to get used. There's too many UFOs that's turned off nuclear.
I don't think they're going to let that
stuff.
happen. They know that we are going to destroy ourselves. And I honestly believe that they are there making sure that we do not do that to ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think they will intervene before that happens. I honestly believe that.
Hope so.
Oh, the only thing that I worry about is the government will turn around and say, oh, look, the aliens have turned off our nuclear weapons and stuff. Let's unite to fight the alien menace. You know, that's like Project Bluebeam kind of thing comes in. And I mean, let's face it, all they need to do is some like kid-owned spaceships together a city, and then they can drop bombs on that city and say it's the aliens that did it. But why would they want to do that? The aliens were here before humans were.
They created
aliens
us.
living on. Yes, there's aliens that live here long, but they're still living under the oceans and stuff like that. Why?
There's a gene in our DNA that cannot be identified because it was intervention.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting too deep.
I know I love this kind of stuff.
No,
I mean,
we've gotten worse.
Oh no, honestly, this stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
And one day, I think in our lifetimes,
I hope I get to see it. I told my kids, God, I hope I'm here to see it. I really, really
I think
do.
it'll be happening
Because of
soon.
all the history, So you have history. You have let's say 2000, 3000 BC, and then you have Christ, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2000 AD. All right. What have we had up until 1947? A wheel and fire.
Yeah.
Yep.
What happened
Technology.
when that spaceship crashed and we started reverse engineering? How the hell did we go from wheel to fire to a microwave to transistors to electronics to nanotechnology to lasers to fiber optics to... Come on, guys. Seriously. Who can deny that?
It makes you wonder what this human civilization will be like after they arrive, because they'll give us, well, we'll probably have to earn it ourselves, but we'll have it with their help. We'll be able to build ships that will travel to different parts of the galaxy.
Yeah.
And then one day, maybe in 1,000 years from now or 2,000 years from now, we will be a civilization that will find a planet out there, just like we were in the 1940s or the 1930s or whatever.
Yes.
And we'll be like, oh, look, they're coming close to making the nuclear weapons, right? That's it. We need to help them. And then it'll go. And I think that's how it works in the universe. I really do. I think that's because they'll pass on, we'll join them, they'll help the next one, then they'll join us. And that's what happens. I really do think that.
Yeah, it's just amazing if you step out of the box and look at it. It's not supposed to make sense how we are where we are today. It just doesn't make sense. It's like the H stones and
what is that one?
Pumapuku. Yeah. Today we can't create those things. We can't do that. Today we cannot do that. So it's lost technology, and I believe the world's been destroyed many, many times. And I think we're just now discovering old technology going, wait a minute, this is a cycle. And when we get to where we can't handle it anymore, we'll be destroyed. And then in another 3, 4, 5,000 years, they'll be pulling up our cell phones under dirt going, what the hell is this?
Yeah. But I think this time we've got help. I think they've decided to help us. I really do.
Yeah.
I think it's happened so many times in the past.
They're on our side. They're on our side.
Yeah.
Well, aren't we supposed to be the 6th species or
that we
cycle of
know
humans
of.
on
If you
there.
go by the Mayan calendar, we restart now, and this is all supposed to end and happen all over again. If you look at the quatroon, but anyway,
But Dakota,
so guys, where can?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I just want to know
what
where we can see your story, your UFO. What episode on your channel can we go check out?
It's kind of spread out because we've had several incidents where shit got weird on the show. I mean, there's been sections where we had certain guests on, and for some reason that guest and I couldn't hear each other, but they could hear Chris just fine. And I'm having to type my questions in the chat just to communicate. It's still a developing story. It's all over the place. The saga still continues.
I think we need to have him on our show to tell his story. That's what we'll do. That'll be easy.
Have you on our show
and see how our audio goes.
Yeah, our audio always goes ass crazy when we do shows. I mean, we have so many,
especially when Mike was on.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh,
Mike turned into a silent.
Nothing worked. We had lights flashing
when Mike and I would link up.
Yeah.
Whatever he had tied to him and whatever was tied to me did not like each other.
Right. We've had that. We've had things tonight. We've had nothing go wrong. This is probably,
as far as I know,
for our first.
Touch wood.
This could be our first time we have nothing go wrong.
We didn't have anything go wrong on our last we were doing the.
But I'm telling you, man, I know what you're talking about. I mean, we've had shit go weird. Things stop working, batteries die, cameras working. He had a camera that just disappeared. Our lights flash.
We've had computers blow up.
Yeah.
There was one night. We actually mentioned that last night, Dakota. What was the night that we were talking about? Was it a UFO subject? And you went, beam Chris up, and I get kicked out of StreamYard. That was that.
No. We got to talking about it. Chris was joking. It was like, take me. All of a sudden, his connection just drops. Something kicked him out.
Awesome. Well, how do we find your feed? You're gonna have to share that with us. We'd love
that. Bald and Bonkers, right?
Oh yeah, we try to sync everything through Bald and Bonkers. We're out to.
We're on Amazon today,
we have like 50 plus different locations our shows go out to, so that in the event something gets taken down, there's several more copies for people.
Cool. We're gonna get more involved with that.
Yeah.
And also we've got the TV network. Dakota built a TV network. That all this.
Yeah, we have Bonkers TV that plays all of our YouTube videos as kind of a old school linear TV. We're working on getting our own streaming platform together, so that way we have full control over it for whenever all this shit decides to go against us.
Very cool.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you guys so much for having us on. I mean,
this is awesome.
Brilliant. It's been a brilliant show tonight. So, guys, where can everybody find you? Let's come on, plug it. Where can we all find you?
I'll tell you what. I'll show you. I'll come back and share it if we can. Just now our episode's still playing there, dude.
Yes.
We want to show you just our intro so if people want to look at it, they can. It's really cool. Joey and I put it together. It's really cool. And we're proud of it. So here, that's
how did that took me back to that.
The ghosts in the machine.
Yeah.
This is what's kind of weird.
Mike, is it you?
All right, here we go. Let's share this right here.
All right, let me take it back to there
and big screen.
Go big screen. I'll come back and share if I can. It keeps not letting me. I have to keep it small. All right, now I'll share.
It should be up shortly, guys.
Here it comes.
There. But I got to go in and start it.
Do you hear it?
Yeah.
Welcome Welcome to Out There.
I'm Papa Joey Stay.
And I'm Uncle Tim Rice.
In this series, we explore the unexplained
and the paranormal.
While I'm somewhat of a skeptic,
I'm a full-on believer.
Together, we take a deep dive into all things that could be considered out there.
We discuss everything paranormal, from ghosts and UFOs to cryptids and more.
Join us as we unravel the mysteries behind the stories
and decide for ourselves
if there is something more out there.
So cool. Thanks for letting us show that.
That is brilliant. I like that.
Yeah. So this is the channel is out there with SUDS, and you can see we're only at 46 subscribers on that one. So.
This is new. We just started this, but we're looking forward to reaching out to a whole lot.
I'm going to subscribe to that tonight.
We might need to get you synced up to Bonkers TV, so that way
No, that would be awesome.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
All right.
You could actually stream to the Bald and Bonkers Network. You could actually stream to the Bald and Bonkers Facebook group, and I would let you stream to a Ghost Squad Scotland group if you want on Facebook, if you're on Facebook.
Awesome. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And we're going to start doing a live show every Tuesday night. So,
yeah, you'll get more viewers. You'll get quite a lot of viewers through the Facebook group because there's a lot of people on there that like that kind of stuff.
We'll share our out there Facebook with you, and we look forward to talking to your guests.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm honestly, I'm really looking forward to your UFO stuff. That story you tell us about what happened with the UFO was amazing.
Yeah, I probably won't sleep tonight. I'm going to be all shook up.
You'll be a chap at the door, and there'll be 3 guys in black suits.
Yeah.
You want to have a word with you?
Oh, there's a reason why I literally have security cameras pointing at me at night, just in case something happens.
It's scary, man. Once you dive into that unknown, man, you're done.
I've had an abduction where I ended up 30 miles away from where I was at, and I may have had hybrid children.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're definitely
I'm
going to
all
get together on that.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You know, look, the UFO world is an amazing world, but honestly, you're going to experience some crazy stuff in your life. You really are.
It is
because the deeper down the rabbit hole you go, the more it opens up.
Yes.
You know. Oh, there you go. I think you just hit 50 subscribers there. I've just subscribed there. There we go.
All right.
Thank you.
We're excited.
There we go. So, guys, I would like to thank you for coming. We'll talk to you behind the scenes. Everybody that came tonight, thank you very much. Remember, Dakota's got a show this week. Is it the Dakota Files? Am I correct?
Yeah, Branson Files, or I go more into my own research on this type of stuff. And I think this one is probably going to spook some people.
I hope so. I hope so.
And Friday, I'll be doing Paranormal Uncut. I don't know what we're talking about yet, but it'll be something interesting, probably. So, thank you, everybody, for coming. Remember, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button, and see you all soon. Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Talk to you guys behind the scenes. Catch you later, dudes.
Much love.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe anywhere you see Bald and Bonkers for even more insanity. Be sure to spread the love to the Bald and Bonkers Boys' other endeavors. And a special thank you to our audience, guests, and everyone else who helps make this crazy ride happen. Amazing things are ahead. Learn more by visiting www.baldandbonkers.net. See you next time. Much love and take care.